So just like some of the previous MCAT questions that we've done, this is a case of essentially figure out what variable you want, figure out what equations will give you those variables, and then plug and chug. And so we want to figure out the average force applied to a car while it's being accelerated. So immediately that should send alarm bells in your head as F equals ma, right? And we know the mass of the car, so m is equal to 1,200 kilograms, right? Mass, and then we don't know acceleration. We do, however, have a change in velocity over a period of time, right? And so there, what we want to do is we want to use an equation that will allow us to relate change in velocity, time, and acceleration. And of course, the equation we can use is velocity is equal to acceleration times time, right? This equation is really change in velocity, but if we accelerate from 0, then we can just say velocity, which we're doing in this case. So velocity is equal to 25 over a period of, so a times over a period of 6 seconds. So 25 divided by 6. What is 25 divided by 6? And I think we can round that down to 24. So we can say 24 divided by 6, and that's going to equal 4, right? 4 is equal to acceleration. Of course, 25 divided by 6 is not a clean number, but 24 divided by 6 is a pretty clean number. So 4 is equal to acceleration. So we'll say 4 meters per second squared. Okay, and then we can go ahead and plug that into our equation. And when we look at, just so to be clear, when you're rounding something like this, when you look at the answer choices, it does help to glance at the answer choices and make sure they're pretty far apart. You don't want to be rounding when the answer choices are really close. But in this case, we don't have to worry about that because we see that the answer choices are like 200, 500, 2,000, 5,000. I mean, those are very, very far apart, right? So 24 divided by 6 is 4, and then we can go ahead and plug that in, right? F is equal to 1,200 times 4. Right, so what's 12 times 4? That's 48. So it's going to be 4,800. F is equal to 4,800 newtons. And that's close enough to D, 5,000. So the correct answer is going to be D. And again, just to be clear, the rounding, we rounded at a couple of points here. Right? It's always nice to be aware of where you rounded. So we rounded when we said we turned 25 to 24. And so really this would be like 4.1, 4.2. So if this were like 4.1, 4.2, then it makes sense that this number is going to be a little bit higher. And so just when you, sometimes if you do want to double check your work, it does help to think about it in that way. So the correct answer here is going to be D, 5,000 newtons.